you ever felt.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
With that being said, I want to talk about, just briefly, the time. This year marks the 19th year since I've been on this post as student captain in December. 19 years of service. Never thought it would, when you start a journey like this, you never, ever could see 19 years down the line. And that number 19 has been very significant for me since the year began. 19 is also the signature of Allah God found in the Holy Quran. There's been a mathematician that found by doing certain calculations, computer calculations and simulations, that every time you see the number 19, that's God's signature. That's just like him writing his name on whatever that event is. So the number 19 is very significant. Yesterday was the 19th of the first month of 2019. And two very significant things happened in my life that I would just like to share with you all. One of them is that my biological brother, he was buried yesterday. We buried him yesterday on the 19th of January. The 19th of January also is the birth anniversary of my father, who passed 3 years ago. So my brother was buried on the birth anniversary of my father. Then my brother, who has a different mother, his mother's birthday was yesterday on the 19th. Now, not only that, my brother's ex-wife's birthday was on the 19th. And may Allah be pleased with this strong, strong believer. Our dear, dear sister Linda passed on the 19th. The 19th is a very significant day. It's the signature of Allah. We say, Inshallah, be it Allah's will. These things happen because they're Allah's will. Now, as Muslims, we're told that we should not grieve. Okay? That Muslims should never grieve. Sometimes we could be sad, but we should never grieve. Because Islam itself means security. So no matter all of the difficulties that we have in our lives, we should never grieve. Because it is Allah's will. Now I want to talk about the time. Now, as Brother Darrell said, when we were at the homegoing services, as we say in the church of my brother, the pastor said that we have a birth date and we have a date when we die, and there's a dash in between. So what are we doing with that time? That's that dash. I want us to consider the time, and what are we doing with Allah's time? Do you know that when we're born, that Allah deposits within this flesh a soul? And we call that soul, in many cases, by our name. The soul known as Deborah. The soul known as Linda. The soul known as Rashid or Khadijah or Brother Darrell. So what are we doing with that time? So this flesh body carries the soul. And we're just given this as a loan. Okay? This body is just a loan. So Allah comes through us to do his work in this world. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what are we doing with God's time? In the Holy Quran it says, and we created not the heaven and the earth, and what is between them for sport. Okay? Had we wished to take a pastime, we would have taken it from before ourselves. By no means would we do so. Nay, it says, we hurl truth against falsehood. So it knocks out its brains, and lo, it vanishes. And woe to you for what you describe. So the question is, what are we doing with God's time? Are we spending it in sport and play? From what I understand, there's supposed to be, what, a playoff today? There's supposed to be an NFC championship today? How much time do we spend wasting God's time? If we understood that God came to manifest himself through us and realized that, that you just can't use this life just for your own convenience. You have to come into this life with purpose and determination. It says here also in the Bible, in the book of James, chapter 4, verse 14, it says, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. You don't know what will be on the morrow. We don't know if we walk out of here. We don't even know whether or not we'll walk out here. It says, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanished away. Life is short. Even if you lived 103 years, life is short. What are you doing with God's time? What are you going to do today when you leave out of here? How are you going to use this life? We always talk about what we're going to do. What we want to do. But what are we doing? How will we be remembered when we leave here? So I'm just saying that we need to consider the time. And it says here, by the time surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good, and exhort one another to truth, and exhort one another to patience. That's what we should be doing with God's time. Okay? So we all were born for a purpose. No matter even if you don't know it yet.
Come on now.
But God gave you a purpose.
That's right.
So what are you doing with this time? And as I close out what I have to say today, I want to read from one of, I would say, my favorite book of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Our Savior Has Arrived. Now think on that. All the time that we've been going through hell here in North America, he's let us know that our Savior has arrived. So no matter what, and a Savior is one who what?
Who saves?
Who saves. So if your life is not the way that it should be, maybe you need to become acquainted with the Savior. I'm going to read in the chapter entitled The Time, chapter 5. It says, if you who disbelieve in the truth would only consider the time in which we now live, you would bear witness that it is the very truth from your God that I am teaching. This is Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking. Just when should you expect the truth to be triumphant? The answer is after the removal of falsehood. You remember when it said in the chapter in the Quran where it says that have we wished to take a pastime, and it goes on to say, nay, we hurl truth against falsehood, so we knock its brains out. The time referred to in this book is the time of the present world, as Allah God has revealed it. This covers a period of 6,000 years. It began from the day that the first white person was made, which was in the year 9000 of our calendar year. This date is taken from the beginning of the present cycle of history writings by the 24 black scientists, of which only 23 actually do writing, and the 24th one acts as a judge of the writing of the other 23. This history is written, in this history is written everything that will happen for the next 25,000 years. It's already written. All we have to do is walk into our purpose. It's already put down. Then it goes on to say, Like people say in the church, is Lord calling. The original scriptures of the Bible in the Holy Quran, it says, were taken from and revealed by words of mouth and inspiration to prophets. We are now in the 6,000th year of this cycle, and we have 9,956 years to be finished before the next cycle. But we are only concerned with that which the present time holds for us.
That's right.
A thorough knowledge of the time and changes to be made is the important factor for you and me. So the question is, what are we doing with the lost time? Now, as I close, I just want you to consider if you have a meeting that you have to go to. Knowing the time will determine whether or not you'll make that meeting or not. Now, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that this world is ending, right?
That's right.
This world is on the way out. So if this world is on the way out and the new world is on the way in, don't we want to be on time for the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means that we need to know the time. And we need to know what must be done. Because life is short. Allah allowed us to be born in this time. The time, what they call the days of Allah. When the manifestation of the truth is present.
Right.
We could have been born at any other time in history. But Allah saw fit for us to be born right now. Well, Allah, the time during which, after 66 trillion years, Allah made himself known. Think about the calculations, the probability that exists for you to be born right now. They're almost astronomical. It had to be purposeful that you were born right now.
That's right.
So what are we doing with the lost time? So I just want to really encourage us to understand how short life is. Do not abuse the lost time. It's precious. Every moment counts. Every moment counts. So make sure that we are doing something with the lost time. And what we need to do is make the truth known.
That's right.
The Great Commission of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad must be made known. Because that's why we live in the conditions that we are in today. That's why we suffer from bad health. That's why we suffer from bad education, bad social systems. It's because there's a person who, the Satan, who is cast falsehood all over everything,
That's right.
is controlling the world. So we have to make the truth known. So that we won't have to live like this. There'll be no sickness in the hereafter. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that it'll come a time, if we start doing what we need to do today, the death will be when we get tired of learning whatever it is. We've learned everything we need to know. And then we just say, okay, now, I'm ready to go. Wouldn't that be worth fighting for? Even if you couldn't see it? If your children, your children's children could see it? When you decide that, okay, this has been a good life. I'm ready to go. No sorrow, no crying, no prisons, no hospitals, none of that.
No insane asylum.
No insane asylums. So what we do today with the lost time will determine tomorrow.
That's
So I
right.
thank you all for these few brief moments, and I pray that Allah's peace passes over Sister Linda's family, her son, Brother Jackie, who's here, her husband, Brother Rashid, and I know that Allah is pleased with her, because this sister, for me, and for many people, have showed the example of faith. If I can only have a portion of what this sister had, I'll be a better person. So I thank you. And be happy. Be joyful. Don't be sad. Because indeed Allah determines the time. He sets the time. He is the time. So may Allah bless us all with the light of His understanding.
Are you listening? Damn.